Hello, my name is Paul Mersel from TrainworX. Today we're going to take a look at the new version 5 RE620 or RE66 from Swiss Railways. The version has had an upgrade to be compatible with the Rivet Games Gotthardbahn. So the subsystem will react to their magnets, the same as that we've done for the RE460 and RE420. So they will now all be compatible, and the RE620 upgrade is the last upgrade before we release a Gotthardbahn pack for people that don't own any of these engines, who then can buy everything together in one bundle. More information on that will be provided later. Okay, what we're going to do is go through some of the basics operations of the RE620 and what you need to do to get it moving. It's 90% the same as the RE420, which is also the case in real life, but some things are a little bit different, so I decided to make a separate video for it. Let's start up a quick drive scenario with one of the RE620s. What you will see is if you go to your train library and you type in TWX, you will see everything that you've got installed from TrainworX. The new versions are there. There is also an RE1010, which will obviously only work if you also own the RE420. The RE420 has received a patch. You will get informed about that on a later time to be able to correctly drive the double consists like the RE1010, 8.8 or even 12.12. So that's one RE1212, which consists of two RE620s or 66s. And we've got the RE66 and the RE620. They're all separate, and if you choose for RE66, you will see the older versions of the RE66, or the versions that are still running or have been running up till short for passenger services. All the ones that have been updated and have gone to cargo now have the 620 numbers. So you will have a variety of versions, colors, and that will only be the outside. The cab, unfortunately, is still one version, the basic cab version. I am planning to have another version which has ETCS in it and some other monitors, but I didn't want to wait another month or 2 months to release this pack, so hopefully after some other projects I will be able to update this with some new cabs too. Anyway, let's start and drive an engine. Let's go and look for the new 620, the Rail Adventure version. We're gonna go to Eerstveld. It's gonna be autumn. We don't need rain. Let's just keep it cloudy. It's 10 o'clock and let's just start up. This quick drive scenario. Here we are in the cab. I will just shortly take away this HUD. This is the basic view that you will be presented with. From TS 2020 onwards, or at least in this version, we've got some possibilities to do camera options. And what you will see here is that next to color filters, screen effect filters and vignetting, there's also a field of view slider. This has presented us with a new problem, because if people move that slider, the view will be out of the default situation. So it doesn't matter anymore how much we try to find the sweet spot, and we try to find the exact correct position of where the driver's view is, because if we slide this, you can change it pretty easily, which is on one hand a good thing. On the other hand, it makes it sometimes necessary to do some extra modeling, because you will be able to have views that you would normally not have. Secondly, if you have for one cap shifted this slider to another position, it will come up maybe like this when you start up another engine, and you might think, you know, this is undrivable. Please always try and set this back to default. Then at least you will have the most preferable position in the cab, which you can then change if you want to. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. This is not only for the 620. This is probably, or almost certainly, for all your engines. Okay. Let's continue with this scenario. If we shortly go outside, you see that this is the new Rail Adventure version of the RE620. It's the 003, which was one of the prototypes. There were two prototypes that had the two parts. They were sort of split in the middle. Then there were two, this one and the Fido, that were one frame. But there were still prototypes and little changes. When you look at these vents, there are 6 of them in the actual versions that came later, from 5 onwards to 89. There'll be 5. Also, the sand caps are square instead of round. So there are a couple of things different from the other versions. Anyway, this is the new Rail Adventure 1. I know some people think it's really ugly. Others think it's really beautiful. I think it's at least something different, so I quite like it actually. Although saying that it's beautiful is probably not something I'd want to say. But anyway, this is the outside. The inside will be the same for all cabs. So let's take a look at that. It's mostly familiar to you if you own the RE420. It's virtually the same cab. With some changes. You will see that this cluster in the middle is different. Again, this has changed in later versions, and I don't know if there are actually many versions with this actual cab still driving. But that was like the basic cab that was built for the RE66. Then what I did do is add the iPad, so it works the same as on the 420. So we are at Eerstveld, so we will just drive from here. This is not interactive in a way that the timings will change. It's interactive as you can switch to the screens or switch it off. But it's not interactive with timings. So unfortunately, that's something you will have to take care of by yourself. But at least it's got the iPad screens up, so that's good. If we press the I, there is the dashboard lights that come on, and the L is for the cab light. So we'll switch that off for now. These are all the same actually all over my trains, or the TrainworX trains, and you should be familiar with those settings. I'm pretty sure. Okay, let's start up the engine. There are again 2 ways of doing that. You can do everything manually, or you can choose to do an auto startup, which will set everything or almost everything in the correct position. What we'll do now is do a manual startup, and the first thing we're gonna do is pull up this switch, which is like the main brake switch, BV-haan. That will activate most or make possible the switches of the other switches that we need to set. If you don't set this one to this position, nothing will happen. Then we will put the reverser to forward. You don't have to do it at this point in time, but it's a normal procedure to work from the right all the way to the left and put all the switches to the on position. So I will do that here too. I have not animated the key. I could have done, but there's not much use in doing that. I thought so. I haven't. What we do is like the Steuerstroom, Panto, that should go up, which it does. Then the main switch, compressor. This is for Zoekstallmachine is I think to operate other engines in the consist. It's switchable, and there's a light that comes on when it's on. This is for the lights. I will keep that on auto. You can switch them off, you can switch them to manual, and then you can use these switches over here to the right. I'll move this away. You can move these, use these switches on the right to manually operate the front lights, but we'll keep it in auto now. And we can then loosen the brakes, loose the engine brake, and we can also loosen the train brake, but for now I'm not going to do that. I'll wait a while because I'm going to activate ZUP. I'll show you that too. The wipers are also still the same. It's one for the left, and there's one for the right. There is a slow and a fast position, and they will, as in the real situation, when you switch them off, they will stay where they are. They will not auto return to their start position, which is the same as in real. You can operate the blinds, obviously. Not really necessary, but I had that animated in the first version, so I choose to keep that. And with Ctrl S you can open up the mirrors. You'll see that the mirror in the front is now open. And then the next step is to activate ZUP. You don't need to activate ZUP if you don't want to. If you don't, the system will default to the basic AWS settings, so there will be some warnings, but it will not be the ZUP system and the magnets that are in the Rivet Games routes, or specifically in this Gotthardbahn route, and most likely also will be there in any future routes, won't be recognized. So if we want that, we need to activate ZUP, and we do that by pressing this green button here. It will then go through a testing sequence, and it will engage an emergency brake. We can stop that by pressing the red button. It will say ZUP system is on, ZUP control is on, and it also tripped the main switch, which we have to re-engage. So now we have 4 8s in the display, which means that ZUP is activated, but we have received no information yet. So the system is active, but not under control. So after we've been doing that, I think it's time to loosen the brakes. If you go to the HUD, you will see that it says Fahrstellung. That's the actual release position where we can drive the train. So we're ready to go. Now we come to the famous or infamous step switch. The RE620 has a lot of power, so again it takes some getting used to drive this. Also we don't have anything attached now, which makes it even a little bit more daunting to keep the correct speed, but we'll shortly go to this position. I'll put on the HUD so you can see what happens here. You can see that it's at the minus now. We go to the dot, which is like the state where actually there is no control of the step switch yet. And if we move to manual, it will start going up the steps and gradually add more power. So what I'll do is I'll just add 1 or 2 steps, and we will start moving. You see that we are at about 300 amps now. This step switch again is something I've tried to simulate. It is not completely correct. I think normally you would have more amps in the first 1 or 2 steps, but it presents all kinds of problems with speed, and it's just after testing and doing a lot of discussions with drivers, we know it's not exact, but it keeps the engine drivable, and I think that's an important thing too. We will switch down a bit. We don't want to go too fast, and we're on our way. I think this quick drive scenario, it is actually going to the left track, which is very good. you will see that sometimes on these scenarios it will choose the wrong side of the route, but in this case we are fine. So anyway, this is what you need to do to get moving. The zoop system has now changed from all 8s to all dashes, which means that it did have information, but there is no restriction. It's just the track limits now, or the consist limits. There is no specific zoop information active that needs you to slow down. I won't go into the actual zoop situation and how that exactly works. That might be something for another tutorial, but for now we can just see that it's working because of the dashes. So let me think what else there is that I need to tell you. I think this is actually it. One thing that is important, that if you do an auto start, everything except the brakes will be set for you, and also the Wachsamkeitskontrolle, which is like the dead man's pedal, or CFI in German, is activated automatically. If you want to deactivate it, you have to press Shift 7 to not be reminded of pressing the pedal. The pedal is down here. The spacebar operates that pedal, and you will need to do that every now and then to make sure you don't get an emergency brake. Again, so if you start up manually, that won't be activated. If you start up automatically, it is activated for you. One other thing that I've implemented, which is to my knowledge not the case in the real world, is that just to make sure that the system is picking up the zoop magnets, you can actually see that when we drive over a zoop magnet like this, there will be a short yellow flash of the yellow LED. That is a function that I just added in the simulation, so that you know that the zoop information is red. So if it doesn't change the display, that doesn't mean it doesn't work. It just means that there is no restrictive situation in this case. So I think this is it. We have reached our speed on our way to Amsteg, and I hope that this video has helped to get driving. This is also described in the quick guides and the manuals, but I know for some people that's just something. I mean, I myself never read a manual unless I really need to. So maybe this video will help you to get used to this engine a little bit quicker than you would normally. So thanks for your information, and hopefully I can make another video on some more controls soon. Thank you very much.